We're going to take a moment to have a look at the business news now. Victoria's got details for us.
Hi, good morning to you both. Good morning to you. And now we've had a national living wage for the last 6 months to guarantee minimum wages. But do we also need a similar standard for our homes as well? Well, one charity thinks that we do. This is the housing charity Shelter. They've spoken to thousands of people about what it makes to make an acceptable place to live. Things like how affordable it is or whether or not it is safe. Now, the minimum standard is something the charity has decided to call the Living Home Standard. But 2 in 5 people don't actually live in properties that make the grade. Our correspondent Jeremy Cook has been speaking to Ian and Esme, who live in Bristol.
I get so depressed thinking about it.
Ian and Esme's privately rented flat in Bristol fails the new test.
There's always something late. There's always something.
Yeah,
One small bedroom, no living room.
I would say pokey.
It's dark and it's damp. It gets cold quickly, so we have to put the heating on quite often. But we do get frustrated being on top of each other.
Oh, I get very depressed about it when I think about it.
Yeah, that's why we try not to. But
They are among the 18% of people who live in poor conditions.
boom, 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 boom. Right, stick that up here.
They've been here for 10 years, and after a series of small businesses, both are now on state pensions. Esme's living with cancer. Ian has diabetes. This is hardly the dream home that they'd hoped for.
A cottage in Wales.
Something like that would be lovely, wouldn't it? Or a country house or something. You know, we had
definitely
grandiose dreams. And clearly they were dreams, because here we are.
Well, the boss of Shelter, Campbell Robb, joins me now. Good morning to you. It's heartbreaking to think that so many people are having to make the choice between paying rent and putting food on the table. So why do you think so many homes are falling foul of your standards?
Well, this is a standard that's set by the public, actually. We went out and asked thousands of people, what do you think is what everyone should have in a home? And they came up with things like a room where everybody in a family can sit together, not paying so much rent or mortgage that suddenly you have nothing left to pay for essentials. And what that means is across the country, when we ask thousands of people, there are lots of different reasons. In places like London, nearly 7 out of 10 people are failing because of their affordability. Their home just costs more than they need for essentials afterwards. In other places, it's about conditions. Some people living in with damp and mold or infestations. And other places, it's about space, just not having enough space. And that's why it's really important that we work with government and others to bring this to an end. We can fix this crisis, we really can.
Now, Esme and Ian are clearly desperate to move. They've written letters to the council several times, but, you know, they've not been able to move. If you are living in substandard accommodation, is there anything you can do about it?
Well, there's a number of things. Certainly, you get in touch with organisations like Shelter and other organisations, and we can try and help. But what we actually need is the government, local authorities, all to take action. Certainly for private rented accommodation, we need local authorities taking more action to tackle the small number of local rogue landlords, but also to make sure that tenancies are longer so people feel more secure. The government can start building some more affordable homes. We can see this fixed, and we can do that because people across the country have said enough is enough. We want everyone to have a reasonable, decent home, and that's not too much to ask, really.
Is there enough protection for people who are renting, both in social housing and also private homes as well? Because they seem the most vulnerable group.
Every day at Shelter, we see people really, really worried about losing their home, partly because their tenancy might be coming to an end, partly because their landlord might want to sell the house, or partly because the conditions aren't good enough. So we try to put in new laws, and we've had a couple of laws passed in the last few years to make it better, but there's always more that we can do, and that's why local authorities and the government need to resource this properly. The private rental sector has grown massively in the last 10 years, and it's not really fit for purpose, and the law that governs it isn't either. And that's why when we ask these thousands of people about a living home standard, a lot of the people who failed were in the private rented sector.
You say that we can fix this. You said that at the beginning of the interview. But how? Because there's no more money that's going to be put aside for things like this.
This is what's important about this standard is this is the public, thousands and thousands of people saying, we think everyone should have a chance to thrive in their home, they're really to get on in life. And that's why it's it's really important. This government has said that housing is one of its priorities. Let's see that turned into action. Let's see some investment in genuinely affordable homes. Let's see some new laws to give local authorities that power. Let's see tenancies extended. This is stuff we can do. Not all of it costs money. Some of it does. And that's what the public are telling us they want from everyone to have in a good home.
The government's saying it's doubled its housing budget for affordable homes to £8 billion. Is that enough money?
Well, I think we'll need to see some more investment coming up in the autumn statement, because if we want homes to be genuinely affordable, we need some more investment. But that can be in lots of ways that can invest to help people across the country. And that's really what we want to see, a mission across all of businesses, charities, government, because the public wants something better for everyone.
Campbell Robb, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
There is more available on the website, including places to go if you think this is affecting you and you need some help.
Victoria, thanks very much.